All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. But before we jump in, I just want to let y'all know that this may be a little bit complicated and maybe a little bit frustrating, but it's totally okay, mostly for those who may not consider themselves crafty or really into crafts. It's totally fine. I wouldn't necessarily consider this a craft either, more of a building experience. But I just want to encourage y'all to try, and if it doesn't work out the first time, try again. Honestly, it took me 3 times to finally get a working piggy bank that I actually like. And so I hope you guys really try and put in your all to making this piggy bank. So in your boxes, you guys will be finding tacky glue, clear tacky glue, pair of scissors. In this case, I will be using adult scissors, but kid scissors, a thumbtack, a paper plate, some tape, and then I have cut out cardboard already. But in your boxes, you guys will have a full-size cardboard, popsicle sticks, a bunch of them, you're gonna need them, bigger popsicle sticks, some paint. They're mostly gonna be your primary colors. And then you're gonna need a paper to sketch on, a pencil to do the sketching, paint brushes, and the most important thing, a ruler, and I guess the second most important thing, your imagination. This is really important. Imagination is really important. So we're gonna wanna start off with a design. Make sure you got some inspiration. I'm gonna be replicating my piggy bank that I already made. Here we have the full-size cardboard, and I'm gonna be cutting it into 4 smaller pieces. So I'm using a ruler, and I'm using a ruler because I wanna make sure that they're all equal sizes. And I'm gonna start cutting just to make sure that they're all equal. And if not, I will be going back in and making sure that they're all the same size. And it's okay if they're not all the same size. I'm just a perfectionist, and it's totally okay if you decide to have different sizes on your cardboard. So now we're gonna figure out the layout, and I'm gonna be using a bottom piece as the foundation, and we're gonna be using tacky glue to hold everything together. And we're gonna be using a popsicle stick to spread our tacky glue onto the bottom piece of the cardboard. And we're gonna be using more popsicle sticks to use as a foundation to give it strength on both sides of the cardboards that we're gonna be using. And so we have it figured out kind of, and we're gonna be adding more popsicle sticks in between to hold both of the cardboard pieces together. It may be wobbly, which I recommend to give the tacky glue at least 30 minutes to dry. And we're adding more tacky glue on top just to hold it together. So onto the hard part. So using the 2 remaining pieces of cardboards, we're going to be using the foundation of the piggy bank to trace a triangle. And this triangle is going to need to be a bit smaller since it will be inserted inside. And using that triangle that we're going to cut out right now, we're going to trace another triangle, which is going to be the front. So both of these are going to be the front and the back, and they're both going to be needed to be small since they're going to be inserted. This triangle is going to be the back of it, and the one that I'm tracing is going to be the front. There we go, we have 2 small triangles. And so one of them is going to be the back, and it's going to be covered with popsicle sticks. The popsicle sticks are there just to have a grip on taking it out when we want to cash out our money. You can either do this vertical or horizontally. And for the front, which is the most hardest part, we're going to be tracing the deposit taking where the coins will be dropped. And so for this, we need a smaller rectangle, which you'll need to trace, and using a push pin, we're gonna be carving out that little space. I recommend using a flat surface. It's really hard to push it out. So just be super duper careful. I'm going over it about 2 times there. I recommend trying pushing it out with your thumbs. If not, using a scissor will help. Now that we got it out, I wasn't a big fan of the unevenness of the cutout, so I'm using some tape to cover it. And this is optional, you don't have to do it. So now, since it's kind of dry, I'm gonna be figuring out if I cut a bit too much now that it may be too wobbly for it. But that's an easy fix. And since it's still wobbly, I'm gonna add another popsicle stick on top just to make sure that the foundation is strong. And we're gonna do that on the other side as well, which is why I recommend letting the tacky glue dry for at least 30 minutes. Man, it's kind of wobbly, but it's okay if it's wobbly. As y'all saw, it was a real struggle and kind of messy, but like I mentioned before, it does take some time, and it's okay if you mess up the first time. You can always go back and fix it. I will be providing enough cardboard so you can try a second time if for whatever reason you mess up the first time. But join me for our part 2 of this video, where we're gonna be designing and painting our piggy banks. Most importantly, talking about the importance of saving money.